ships with phantom sails, set to sea on phantom tide. Comes the lightning of the sun, on bright unfolding stars. Another day, a springtime wet with tide, a hopeful candle lit, the land of lullaby, where this host vanish. With wild and lonely cries, lonely cries. There were days, and there were days I know, when all we ever wanted was to learn and love and grow. When we grew into lost dreams, we told them where to go. Halfway around the world, on promise of the Lord. All about the time, barefoot in the snow. And he convinced we had to give how much we'll never know, never know. finest ever seen. Hearts of summer held in trust, still tender, young and green. Left on shelves collecting dust, not knowing what they need. Valentine's so dead velveteen. Hoping love would not forsake the days that lie between. sunshine daydream, walking in the tall trees, going where the wind goes, coming like a red rose, coming over sweet. That I see, I got you in the morning sunshine. Sunshine daydream. Sunshine daydream, taking up the love sweet. Sunshine daydream, waiting close to you, calling it you.
Check, testing, 1, 2, fuck it. Good morning. That's my cue. How y'all doing today? Anybody there? Like, does it matter? Totally. I said totally, and I mean totally. Yes, we're on silent mode again today. I don't know why. I know why. Because I have a house guest, and he's sleeping. And how he can sleep through my show, I have no idea. It's not like it's not like it's really loud, right? It's not a loud show. Anywho. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Thursday, Throwback Thursday, September 25th. A couple of days till my wife's birthday. Totally. That should be fun. I don't know what we're gonna do. Probably just have dinner. You know, we usually keep it pretty simple when it comes to birthdays. Boy, I got a little bit of a sinus issue this morning. I'm avoiding getting sick. How? By telling myself I'm not going to get sick that time. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Coffee bag again today. Still haven't gone out to get coffee. That's all right. I think I got more coffee bags in the van. Yep. Gotta keep a little extra coffee around. You never know when. You never know. And in the van, it's pretty easy to make a cup of coffee. You know, camp stove, teapot, water, cup, coffee bag. That's it. Or a cup and a bag and what do you call it? A hot water tap. That'll usually work too. Or a microwave. If you got a microwavable cup, just heat up the water and drop that bag in. And you're caffeinated. Instantly. Totally not sure exactly what's going on today. I believe my wife is going to get up at 6:45 here, 15 before the end of the show. And, yeah. I think I will probably get back in bed for a couple hours. Until she gets back and there's something to do. Right? I did a little practicing last night on my guitar. I got some fingers here. I got fingers, but you can't see them because it's dark. So I got my fingers here. Fingers. Totally. Yeah, I did a little bit of practice last night on my guitar. And a little bit of singing. I didn't do too much singing. I was more worried about just practicing and getting some wear on my fingertips. My wife looks at my fingertips and she touches them and she goes, I don't want blistered fingertips. And I said, you're not going to get blistered fingertips. Just play the mandolin for a couple of minutes and set it down. And throughout the first day, just pick it up 3 or 4 times for just a couple of minutes, right? And make some chords. That's it. All your fingers. Get all your 4 fretting fingers on there, and move them around, and then set it down. And do that a few times a day. And then every time you pick it up, you just have it in your hand for a few minutes longer. That's it. That's all it's going to take. My fingers, they're tough, but they're a little sensitive. And that's just because I play too much. As long as she doesn't do that, she'll be fine. Just fine. Totally. Ah. Yeah. Totally. At some point, the house may wake up enough during the show that I can turn on a light, maybe play the guitar, maybe do something other than sit here in the dark and go, hey, let's be spooky. No, totally, because, like, it's no matter what camera I go to, it's pretty dark, eh? Right? This one here. I guess this is probably the brightest camera. It's got the most light on it. So there you go. Cool, cool. Totally cool. Mama said there'll be days like these. There'll be days like these, my mama said. Mama said, mama said. She wasn't lying. She wasn't lying. My mama, she never said that. She never said there'll be days like this. She said you'll be lucky if anybody likes you. Go away. I don't like you. Really? Really? She said that? No, she didn't. She just alluded to it. Yeah, anyway. It's early, and all I know is it's early. I got coffee, and I got weed. Weed. I'm the weed man. Totally weed man. Still doing that cherry crumble stuff, wild cherry crumble. It's good. It's got a good taste. I gotta stick with the stuff that's got the highest percentage of THC in it, cause I'm pretty high. Now I just like to deal with my pain. If I'm gonna spend the money to get the medication to deal with my pain, I'm gonna try to get the best I can for my money, right? And the better it is, that's like the better it is, the better it works. I'll take a hit in the evening and sit back for like an hour, 2 hours, and just go, yeah. Now in the morning it's a different thing. In the morning I've had a couple hours sleep. I'm in tremendous pain from trying to sleep and then having to wake up like all the time. Somebody made a post this morning. It says I don't sleep anymore. I just have breaks, naps in between pee breaks, right? And that's pretty much it. I had to really hold back from making a comment about that because it's so true. It's so totally true. I don't really sleep anymore. I got up 3 times last night. I laid down before 8, right? So by 8 o'clock, I was drifting back and forth from sleep to reality. But by midnight, I had already gotten up twice to take a leak. Right? Oh, that's horrible. 2 in the morning, 3 and 4 in the morning. Last time I got up to take a leak was just before 3. Right? And then I got up and I'm like, alright, I'll get my shit together. And then it's like, nope, right to the bathroom, take a piss. Then I can start getting it together. Oh yeah, there's probably something going on. Prostate the size of a city bus or something. Sure. I probably got a lot of parts that are, what do you call it? Inflamed, if you will. If you will. If you won't, then I don't care. Don't. You either will or you won't. It's either there or it ain't. It's either... Shut up. Yeah. 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 Totally, eh? Totally. So it is Throwback Thursday. We were listening to some Grateful Dead earlier. I just might put some more of that on at some point this morning. I'm just not quite sure what I want to do. Throwback? Throw up? Throw a ball? I don't know. My lava lamp is upsetting me. I guess you shouldn't leave a lava lamp on like 24/7 for like a year straight, because then the wax separates. So now I've got this wax build up, stuck to the sides of the glass, big thick chunks of wax, and then the clear paraffin wax that just clear. They're just clear bubbles. They keep dancing around. But it's a different thing now, so yeah, time for a new lava lamp. And then what I might do is set this one in the sun and let it, see if it'll recoagulate together. I don't know. Heat it up and then shake it. What do you do? How do you fix a broke lava lamp? My lava is broke. How do I fix it? How do I fix my lava? I love my lava. I don't know. And I don't care. I may just have to get another one. I think I got it at like Walmart or... No, I think this one I got at Home Depot. I think that's where I got the actual lava lamp. And I want to get a sign. I want to get one of those electronic signs where I can write messages on it, and it pops up on a clear little plexiglass screen. That sounds cool. They've got a lot of cool light display things going on right now. And if I had a few of those going on in here, the place would be a little bit brighter. Right? A couple of more little light gadgets flashing, doing their thing. That'd be cool. Coffee. Totally. Well, it's still Snoopy Day. I got my Snoopy cup, Snoopy pants, and another Snoopy shirt. But you can't see it. Yesterday I did Iron Maiden shirt. Because no, it wasn't. It was Fleetwood Mac. Iron Maiden came afterward. When I'd left town, I put on a Maiden shirt. Totally. But not my teeth. I didn't put my teeth until I got home last night. And then just put them in for dinner. And then after dinner took them out. My mouth is starting to heal and get used to those dentures, but I don't want to overdo it. So, good, a snore. I haven't woken up my house guest. Great. I thought between the pot smoke and the incense and the talking and the lights occasionally, I thought for sure he'd wake up. Luckily, he's been drinking NyQuil to try to get a little healthier for his trip home tomorrow. And if he's not ready to go home, I'm not going to force him to go home, period. If he needs to stay an extra couple of days or a week or even a month, I'm fine with that, as long as his job's there when he gets home, right? Now, if he needs to take a little sick leave and extend his vacation to try to get a little healthier, I'm fine with that. He may just want to get home and get acclimatized to his home and then decide how he feels, right? When you're away, you're like, oh, fuck it, I don't want to go back. At least that's how it is for me. But we'll see. Hopefully he'll feel better by tomorrow. I know today he should be feeling a little bit better. Mom made chicken noodle soup the day after he got back, so and then made him eat a bunch of that. And then I've been filling him full of whatever I can make, cheeseburgers, and I'm a cheeseburger guy, so last night I made barbecue bacon cheeseburgers. Barbecue sauce, cheese, bacon, you get it. Because I said, well, when I get home, I'm going to have a barbecue burger. And Joe's like, ooh, that sounds good. I said, all right, so you want a couple? He said, yeah. So I told Natalie on the way home, so I'm going to, she said, ooh, that sounds good. So last night I made up 5 barbecue bacon cheeseburgers and doled them out. And my daughter didn't like hers. She said she didn't know what it was. Maybe it was the barbecue sauce. I said it was the cheese. It was the cheddar instead of American. Yeah, because extra sharp cheddar, it doesn't have a good melting thing going on, and it gets really stringy and chewy. So I did American on mine, and it was fantastic. Extra barbecue sauce, bacon on the side. I didn't want it in the sandwich. It gets too complicated to chew with dentures. So I try to keep it easy. No lettuce, no tomato, no pickle, no stuff that can really bog down my mouth. And even then it can get rough with that little sore spot on my gums that keeps rubbing raw. And that's the only reason it's sore, is because it keeps rubbing raw. Eventually, I'm hoping that will subside. And I can get my mouth to normal, some kind of normal status, right? That would be great. A little tender is okay. But rubbing it raw every single time, I've got a spot on my upper gum on the outside, and basically I've got a lot of bone and stuff kind of making my gums unsmooth. It's kind of lumpy, and those spots rub, and it's just gum over bone, so when it rubs, it feels like it's rubbing all the way through the bone. So I have to be careful not to do that, not to wear the dentures so much that they just wear right through my gums and into the places where the gums are stretched pretty thin over some bone. So I try to use a lot of glue to keep a little cushion there, and then try to lock them in really good when I put them in. Anywho, enough about my teeth, because I'm sick of it. Of course, if anybody ever wants to talk to or needs to talk about dentures or something from someone who's going through it too, just let me know. I'm cool with it. I'm not one of those people who's afraid to go out. I used to be at first. I was like, oh man, I don't want to go out in public without teeth. And then I just said, fuck it, I mean, what am I going to do? Hide the rest of my fucking life? Hide when I don't have my teeth in? Oh, go away. Tell them not to come. Tell them to come back. They should have called. It's like, fuck it. I try to wear them as often as I can when I go out into the world. But it's just for me. I mean, what do they care? What does anybody care if I'm wearing teeth or not, right? So there you go. That's what I decided. It don't matter If it don't matter to anyone else, what the fuck? And if it does matter to them, fuck them. What do I care what they think? Hey man, that guy's got no teeth. Daddy, he's got no teeth. Don't smile at him. Why? He might smile back. Oh. A toothless grin. I feel like the abominable snowman from that Christmas New Year's cartoon. The animated little... Was that claymation? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. The dentist dude. And the miner. And what was it, the Baby New Year? Is that what it was? I can't remember. It was a silly animated thing. Just silliness, sheer silliness. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna leave and come back. Hey, I'm back. Well, it appears as though nobody's here this morning except me. That's okay. What are you gonna do? Go call people, hey man, where are you? You ain't on my show, man. How come you're not there? I'm all alone. Yeah. Never alone in this house. Especially with the house guests. We got company right here on my show, off camera and unmiked, but you can just hear him snoring. There it was. A little bit of snore. Anywho, I swore I would do a show today, simply because if I don't, I'm talking to myself all day, and I need to not do that. Of course, nowadays when you're driving down the road and you're just screaming and talking to yourself, most people think you're just on the phone, right? Because that's what I think. I see somebody walking down the street talking to themselves. And the first thing I think now is they're on their phone. I used to think, 30 years ago, that person's a fucking nut. And now you just don't know anymore. Of course, they're probably both. They're probably crazy and talking on their phone. Or they're crazy and they think they're talking on their phone. Me, I'm just crazy. I just scream and yell, talk, have conversations, tell myself stupid jokes. Argue with myself about the drivers on the road. Whatever. Who ya? Whatever. It's all good. Shish kebab. Totally. Oh, man. There's always something going on. Something. I think I might get out of December. Not get out of it, but I may not be going to one or both of my daughter's December shows. I know she's got Motion City's soundtrack, I think, in December, late December, mid-December. I know late December we're going to see Big Sandy and his Fly Riot Boys. But she's got 2 other shows in December. I think Joy's coming back for one of them, and she might be going with a friend to the other. So that would be cool. I'd love to go to concerts with my daughter. I love having her as a concert buddy. And I also enjoy it when she comes back from a show with one of her friends that are her age and has the time of her life, with or without me, right? I just love the fact that she's going out. So if it's with me, I love it. If it's with one of her friends, I love it. So I may or may not be going to one of those Los Angeles shows. Of course, she said that in October, who was it? Oh shit! One of her other favorite bands is playing the Hollywood Bowl in October, like just in a couple of weeks or a week or something. And I'm like, wow, that's the Hollywood Bowl. That's a great place. She said, you know what? I didn't like the Hollywood Bowl. And I said, really? She said, yeah. It was the stage was too small, and there wasn't enough standing room, and she didn't like the way that the seats were laid out. She said you couldn't really see anything well. And I thought, well, okay, there you go. So I don't think we're going to the Hollywood Bowl show. She likes the Forum, of course. And she's been to a lot of the clubs, a lot of the small venues in the LA, Hollywood area. She does a lot of those. So now that she's 21, she can get into any of those places. So, and all of her friends, I think, are just about 21 as well. And Sydney just made her way back into the group. So come back into the fold. So hopefully my daughter will go out and do more shows with Sydney. So there you go. And we'll see. But I don't know what's going on really from week to week, month to month. I have no clue, you know. I do know, however, my coffee is getting it's getting Luke Skywalker here, so I'm going to go warm it up. I'll be back in a flash. Don't go nowhere. Okay, well, I'm back. I would ask for an album of the day from one of the viewers, but there ain't many people here, and I don't have really access to my albums. I could poke through a couple of random 8-tracks lying here next to me, and possibly a box of jacketless records just in their sleeves. Because that's all I have in front of me at this point. Everything else is kind of in the dark while my house guest is passed out. And every once in a while you can hear him sneeze a little bit. I'm trying like mad to keep from making a lot of noise and combustion, but hey, that's who I am. And you know, thank the NyQuil gods for providing the sleep for my house guest. Because there you go, man. You know, There you go. I love me some NyQuil. We had 2 bottles. One that was probably, maybe a quarter of it missing from the NyQuil, and an unopened DayQuil. And he's been taking shots of those. So, just to get rest, right? It's not a cure. It's not even a treatment. It's not a remedy. It's just something that helps you rest and keeps the symptoms at bay so your body can heal, right? Now, if you want to get better, you have to eat well. You have to drink a lot of liquids, take some vitamins and supplements and stuff, and rest. Just rest. So, there you go. We'll see how long that goes on this morning. Once my wife gets up and starts milling, once she opens the door and a dog comes out and jumps in bed with him, I think then he'll probably wake up. That's what happened yesterday. The dogs they're not shy. They love to get in bed with somebody who's sleeping. I mean, he'll literally wake up with a dog nudging you, trying to get under the blanket. It's like, what? Oh, you want to get in? Okay. And then they just curl up right next to you, right up against you. And it's one thing to sleep by yourself, but it's another thing to sleep spooned around a little dog. Because they will take you places that you've never been before, man. It's so real. I don't know, there's just so much sleep when you're wrapped around a little dog. Yeah, it's just sweet, especially when they're little chubby, little fat things, with a little meat to hold on to, you know. I love me some little dog. Little dog. Yeah. I'm here. I'm just in the dark. You can barely see me. Totally. There we go. Yeah, because, you know, I'm in the dark. I've been here most of my life. I'm like a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed lots of shit. That's me, baby. Yep. Shumin Broomin. Honestly, I wish I could just pick up the guitar and start playing. I don't have my teeth in, but that hasn't held me back before, you know. What the hell? What do I care? I don't have to sing anyway. I could just play the guitar. I played probably a dozen songs last night, sitting there on the couch. Oh, and my new song happens to be one of Joy's favorite songs. Listen to the music. So I'm gonna have to perfect that song and do some kind of recording of it and get it on the channel. I think what I'll do this weekend is I'll take my channel and put all of my original content onto one playlist so that I can kind of gauge what's what. Because there's not much. There's not much at all. And I need to add to that. I'm not going to do any serious video creating until I get another hard drive. I need more space. So I need another external hard drive to work on and store new channel content. I'm not going to get back into, I've decided I'm not going to get back into old-time radio shows. And I am going to start cataloging the videos, the educational videos, so that I know what is copyrighted and what is not. I'd like to be able to use a lot of those educational films as stock footage, because when making like a little documentary, you're going to want video of somebody reading a magazine or a newspaper, or selling newspapers or magazines, or printing them, or writing in them, right? You're going to want video of kids driving in a car, hanging out next to a car, fixing a car, doing car stuff, traveling, road trips, whatever, and just have lots of footage that I can pull from, so that when I'm talking about something in a documentary, it doesn't necessarily have to be footage about us, but close enough, right? And I can inject images of us, the kids in the story. Yeah, baby. Some kind of scary mystery, Blair Witch type Scooby-Doo mysteries, fictional event from the past. Create some kind of event and then build a documentary around it. And even create footage, recreate vintage footage, right? Because I have old cameras, so I can do that. Yeah. It'd be great if I could find some kids, some young teenagers that resembled some of us, and get footage of them doing things, skateboard, bike, park stuff, hanging out, dressed in, the vintage style clothing so that it'll pass. I'd love to do that. That would be so great. So great. So great. I mean, even if you're just using like the corner of a room and you just dress up the corner of a room, so you got some posters on the wall, a few things on a cabinet or a shelf, a few things on the floor in the room, some props, and boom, shoot it through a vintage camera and then age that film, and you're looking pretty vintage, right? That's what I'm thinking. And create an event, a situation from the past. Yeah. And I know people that I could use for actors, which is great because some of these people are really, really good, and they don't know it. They don't know it. But I could totally do things where I'm interviewing people now about the past, or interviewing people in the 80s about something that happened in the 70s. That would be even better. So the whole thing is retrified, right? So it's a documentary from the 80s made in the present about the 70s. I mean, the main thing I gotta do is props and clothing. There has to be, everybody in it has to be wearing something from the past. I've got a lot of vintage t-shirts. My daughter has a few. Levi 501s, cutoffs. That's kind of like the easiest. Vans, Converse. Totally. And then grab a hold of a few vintage items, props that can be used, that really cinches it, right? Shoot in areas that only have old houses and old cars in front of them. In a park where it could be any decade, right? that had to do with kids in the 70s. And those kids are grown 10 years later in the 80s. And we're interviewing them about what happened and using footage. Good morning. Yes, we are in the dark. The power has not gone out, but my house guest Joey is asleep. He came home from Chicago with the flu, so I've been letting him sleep in. He asked me not to do a show on Tuesday, so I didn't. But I'm here. Every once in a while, you can hear him snore, and he's doing better. Mom's been feeding him a lot and taking care of him. And he's going back tomorrow unless he decides he doesn't want to, that he wants to heal a little more. And then that's fine. We're pretty easy here. We had a house guest once stay a month because she was sick. And she couldn't go home to her house because there was a pregnant woman there. So it's like, okay, no problem, stay. It was hard on my daughter because she had to share the room with this person, and she's never had a sibling, and she's never had a long-term relationship, so she was, she said that was hard. She said it was hard getting used to being around someone all the time. And she decided that she don't like it. I don't think my daughter's going to do, at least not right away, one of those long-term demanding relationships where you're with somebody all the time. I don't think that she could do that. I think she's one that needs her own space. Totally. If she were to get married right now, she would probably want her own room and her own bed. Seriously. And that's a healthy thing for a couple, I think, for them to have their bed that they share, a room that they share, but they also have their little rooms that are their own, right? I think that would be great if my wife and I could have that. Here's my office. Here's your, we call it a sewing room, right? Where mom can do whatever the hell she wants. Dad can do whatever he wants in his den. And there's, a little sofa bed in each, so that on those times where somebody's sick or somebody's, just not into it, what's meant to be alone. Mr. C couldn't see what he sat on my head. Oi. Oh, that's no fair. And and it wasn't even fun. Ow. Yeah, I've got into bed and bumped my wife a few times. What's really bummer is if you get into bed and sit on a dog. That's horrible. A person can take it. A dog, can't take it. Unless it's a big dog. Yo. Yeah. Well, since I've got company, cover me, Susie, I'm going in. So yeah, learned a new song on Sunday, and then poked my finger with a broken glass on Monday. So last night, good, join me. Last night, I practiced again after taking a day or so off. 2 days. After taking 2 days off to let my pinky heal. It's healed. So last night I got to practice a little bit. Practice the new song that I've been playing. It happens to be one of Joey's favorites, so that's cool. Listen to the music, the Doobie Brothers. That's a good one. I've been wanting to learn how to play that since I was a little kid. And I used to air guitar it. And I used to sing it when it come on the radio. And now I can actually play it for realsies, and that's pretty cool. That's fun. So it's encouraging. Every week I want to learn a new song and then spend the week practicing it and getting better at it, and then add it to my repertoire of songs, which isn't real huge. Probably a dozen of my own songs and a couple of dozen other covers. But I just want to keep adding to the covers. The more covers I can fiddle around with, the more incentive I have and the more information I have to create some of my own stuff, learn some new chords, and then I can, inject those chords into a new song. So that's cool. And now I'm playing around a lot with the capo and moving the capo around and playing in a different kind of pitch. A roll, a yaw, I don't know. I'm not a musician, so when people say I'm going to lay down a few bars, I'm like, well, I go to the bar all the time, but I never lay down. Jeez, you lay down, you might as well just go home. The guy's laying down at the bar. Yeah, it's not what it means, but I don't know what the hell it means, laying a few bars. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just people using that lingo so that they sound like a musician, but they're not a musician. All they can do is rhyme and keep in the rhythm and do a beat and stuff, and that's fine, but they're not a musician. I wouldn't even consider most hip-hop rappers or artists singers, right? They're not really singers. They speak in a melodic, right? You're now going to strap on this insidious device known in common circles as a cheater, Bob Weir. A cheater. Insidious device. That's what I thought I was. I thought I was an insidious device that my parents created to try to take over the world. Yeah, that would be great. If I could take over the world would be a happy fucking place, I'll tell you. Right? Totally. Really, really happy. What would you do to make the world a better place? I would educate the world. I think that's what I would do first. Is if I ruled the world, I would probably revamp all of the education system. About a capo, insidious device, right? Hey, that is, if that's what you think about a capo, Bob, that's fine. But I like them. I never used one. I never used a capo until about 3 years ago, sorry. Really? I had one for a while. One of those little strap-on ones. Never liked it. Never could get it to tune right. And then I bought one of those little roach clip ones. Little clip-on ones. And that was different. That was a game changer for me. So when I look up a song and it's just for the capo on the 8th or the 3rd or something, I'm like, okay. And then I can do that. And I'm just like, hey, wow, I'm in the right pitch. I'm tuned. And that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd never used one growing up, but then I never played much. I mean, I was really one of them backwoods, don't know nothing about guitar kind of guys. And I pretty much stayed like that for most of my life. Stayed in the dark, didn't learn a lot, was not ambitious about learning the guitar. So everything is still fresh when I do learn something, and what I know from the 80s. So, there you go. Anything that I do, it kind of has that 80s feel, because that's where I'm at, that's where I'm coming from, that's where I reside. So there you go. A short. Too short. Totally. Yeah. Anywho. It's been a weird week. I don't expect to get any less weird, really. Next week, if things kind of get back to normal, yeah, exactly, the best base, totally. And that's the best base, B-A-S-E. It's the best base to start from, really. I mean, it's either you're starting from the 70s feel or the 80s feel, you know. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, 70s love ballads and disco and this or that. And I'm like, you know what? The 70s led to the 80s. So I've got just as much respect for the 70s as the 80s. I spent a lot of time in the 70s. I still spend a lot of time there. My whole, you know, aura, my era aura is the 70s and 80s, period. I was born in 68. I grew up in the 70s. I became who I am in the 80s. The 90s, I just kept running away. It's like I was trying to get to the future, because the 90s, I just wanted to skip over, and I did. But we never got to the future that I was promised. No. We've got some of the technology, but this is not what I expected. I expected us to be past a lot of bullshit. Instead, we just keep digging it up. So, my whole thing is to try to bring a part of that past to people and bring people back to the past. 74, a great year. I'm a 77 guy myself. For some reason, there's just a lot of, for me, there's a lot of great stuff in 77. Movies, TV, music, a lot of stuff going on. It was just the year after the bicentennial. You know, disco was pretty much in its heyday, right, in 77. There's just so much going on, you know. But I'd love that when people grab a hold of a year and say, yep, there it is. That's awesome. I got a few of those. In fact, that's why I can only just kind of pick 2 decades. It's like, okay, 2 decades. Whatever, anything in those 2 decades, that's for me. You know, 79, 73, right? And then we get into the 80s, right? 81, MTV's popping out. 86, 85, Back to the Future. I mean, there's just so many great things coming out of those 2 decades. It's like, you know what? 70s and 80s. That's it. If I could go back and live somewhere, it would be in the 70s and 80s. I was thinking to myself, if I were to die and heaven were to be that you could just kind of exist in those moments that you enjoyed the most, I would just be bouncing around the 70s and 80s. That would be it. Just listened to a concert this morning from 73. Ooh, that'd be a good Dead show. Awesome. Totally. Post-Europe tour, or maybe that was at the end of the Europe tour. But yeah, good stuff. I've got Europe 72 on 8-track. I think I've got it twice. I've even got it with the paper sleeves with the photo information. Yes, I watched that 70s show. I have that on DVD, the whole collection. It's all 8 seasons, so that I could watch it anytime I want. And I was just thinking the other day, yeah, it's about time to start that again. So what I'll probably do is pop a DVD player in here in my office and just start popping a disc in when I'm working on stuff, because everybody else has seen it a million times. But have you ever seen that 80s show? Not that 90s show, but that 80s show. The season right after they ended. Right after they ended that 70s show, they came back with that 80s show. And it was a great, funny ass fucking 80s show. It had nothing to do with that 70s show, so it bombed. None of the characters were in it. It was set in California, in San Diego, not in Wisconsin. And a lot of people didn't get it, right? And I got it. I totally got it. And it's only 13 episodes of that 80s show. Find it on YouTube. Find the pilot episode or episode 1 on YouTube. In fact, I'll go find it right now and share it. And then save it, because I can do that. I've got computers right here. So let me just open up a window here. Yeah, that 80s show. It's a completely new cast, out of nowhere. They knock it out of the park. They've got the language, the lingo. The girl, the sister, the girl's in it. She has got such a great 80s voice. In fact, all of them just marvelous. Just marvelous. Let me go to the tuber here. And yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That 80s show. Full episodes. Oh, he's sawing logs. Good. That's great. Okay, the complete series, view playlist. There it is. There's the complete playlist. So I'm going to share this playlist to the morning show comments here. Plus use. Donna, she was my favorite. Yeah. Yeah, Donna Pinciotti. You know what? She directs, not only stars in a few episodes, or guest stars in a few episodes of that 90s show on Netflix. She directs quite a few episodes. Yeah, she's the bomb. She's the bomb as an actress. And right, she was in that Orange is the New Black, right? She was in that series for a while. There's a lot of people who made it into that 90s show. I was hoping that if that 80s show had made it, they would have started seeing people show up from that 80s show, right? Because that's just the way it would have worked, so that we would have tied it together at some point. You like Gingy, huh? Gingy. Gingy. Let's see, we're going to paste it. Okay, so there is that 80s show playlist. We can type that in. That 80s. There we go. Okay, there's that 80s show. You didn't get enough PR? PR? What the hell's PR? Prime rib? Because I never get enough prime rib. Hell no. Every once in a while our neighbor brings over like just chunks of prime rib. Oh. Hey, no, don't mention it. Don't mention it. Check it out. It's a great mini-series at this point. It's just a short 13 episodes. But, oh man, it is so... I've watched it I've watched those 13 episodes a half dozen times at least. Advertising. Advertising. Am I advertising? Well, dark on it. Yeah. There you go. I gotta heat up my coffee. Didn't hear about it. Oh, sawing logs. I'm gonna leave you with that for a second while I go heat up my coffee. There's not much left, but I want it to be hot. Yes, there was a 90s show. It is on Netflix. So my wife bought for me this little hot plate that you set your coffee cup on, and when you set your cup on, a little button underneath turns on, and it keeps your coffee cup hot, right? I haven't put it on my desk here and plugged it in because it's always havoc here. But that's a neat little thing. There was this little invention that I saw on a movie. It's like Shaft or something. I don't know. It was a 70s movie, and this guy took this little rod, this little metal rod, and he jammed it down into a cup of water and plugged the rod in, had a cord on it. So it was just a rod and a cord, and he plugged it in, and a couple of minutes later he unplugged it, pulled the rod out, and the cup was hot water. And then he put a spoon of instant in it and mixed it up and drank it down. Right? I thought, wow, that's neat. That's pretty cool little. And if you look back into the past, as far back as like the teens and the 20s of the 20th century, right, and the 1900s, the early 1900s, they had a lot of great electrical inventions. When electricity first came out, everybody went crazy inventing electrical stuff. And so there's a million inventions and gadgets from the past that have just been lost because something new will come along, and that other thing that was really cool and really worth, the investment, and then they just fade away and disappear. And you go into an antique store and it's like, what the hell is that? Oh my God, that's one of those things that does this. It's just, like early vacuum cleaners, bizarre stuff. Early hand tools before they had power, and they had those cranks on them, or early electric hand tools. Early, like, skill saws and drill guns and stuff that were electric, right? That was some heavy shit. Yeah, I like thick ceramic coffee cups. And I got to get that hot plate on here. I'm going to clean off the desk completely and put my telephone and my hot plate here. And then I want to use that telephone. Somehow use that telephone for something in the show. Something. Yeah, I know. And what's really bad is that over the last 20 or 30 years or so, everything has become so disposable, right? So things that we used to buy and expect to repair if they were broken and pass down to our kids, right? Those things no longer exist. We buy things, we don't fix them, and we pass them down to the landfill. We don't have stuff that lasts anymore. They don't sell stuff that lasts, because if things last, how are they going to sell us the new crap that they've invented that's nowhere better in any way than the previous crap, right? I've got old stereos and TVs and stuff that work and still work, and then when they stop working, they're easily repaired, so you can get it back to working again. And how do they sell us new stuff if we're like, nah, my old stuff still works great, right? Cars, disposable. TVs, disposable. Electronics, disposable. Household appliances, disposable, right? How many of you have parents or grandparents that still have a blender, a mix master, a crock pot from the 70s? I do. Because this shit fucking lasts. You know? Nowadays, garbage. And how do they get away with selling us garbage? Because as consumers, we've lost our voice. And we've lost the ability to stand up and say, hey, this is garbage, make it better. And then the corporate entity that sells us this shit now, those entities, they don't care. There's so many consumers that they can just look at us and go, yeah, here's a coupon, go buy. That's it. Well, it's for like $20 off a $1,000 purchase, right? Yeah, go away. We don't care. You're nothing. You're just everybody else loves this shit. You're just one voice that says, you know, go on, Karen. And that's fucked up, you know? We need a David Horowitz to jump up and fight back for our rights. I put a episode of Fight Back on one of my video time machines, I believe. There you go. We need that. We need to be able to stand up and say, you know what, let's start a movement that tells these manufacturers where to go put it. Because I remember when we could write letters and have things fixed and changed. There you go. I've got a juicer. I've got an old juicer from the 80s, 70s, or 80s. We've got a mixer. We've got a crock pot, a blender. I mean, the shit still works. I've still got Corning, and I've still got Tupperware, right? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Hand crank. That reminds me of the mixers. Not just the mixers, right? With the little mixer things that would spin together. But it also reminds me of the ice cream maker, right? Throw in the ice, throw in the salt, put your cream in the middle and your flavor, seal it up, and just spin that thing, and just spin that can around, right? That's it. What's really neat is to do the same thing with 2 coffee cans. You take a big coffee can, right? A big one, big, large, you know, big as your head, old metal coffee can with the plastic top on it, right? And you take a small coffee can, one of the small ones, because they used to sell them small, right? You probably can't get these things anymore, but you take the 2 cans, and inside the one small can, you fill it with cream and some vanilla and sugar. And then you put a plastic bag over it. You put the plastic top over that. You put a little strip of tape around it. You set that inside the big coffee can. And then you add big chunks of ice and rock salt. And then you put the lid on that can and you tape it off. And then inside of a towel, you roll it, and you just roll it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You give it to a kid and you make them roll it around the room. And after a little while, you got ice cream in the interior can. Butter and Cool Whip. That's right. We used to do the same thing. What was my favorite? Country Crock margarine. Country Crock margarine. The Country Crock tubs came in various sizes, right? And they were always resealable. Country Crock. Yeah, and butter. Yeah, Cool Whip. Yeah, exactly. Tupperware. I think we've got a Tupperware somewhere. The Tupperware butter. What do they call those? The thing that you put the stick of butter in and you cover it up, right? Yeah, that's a cool one. What about Amway? You remember Amway products, right? Where you could, you had friends whose parents were selling Amway, and they'd have these parties, and you had to come over, and as if you got invited to an Amway party, you knew you were going to buy something, and you had to buy, hopefully, something you needed, but it was usually crap, and you'd get it, and be like, yeah, this is all right, I'm not going to buy this is okay, but, I mean, I could have fucking gotten it just as easier and better at the fucking store, right? Amway products. That was the weirdest fucking thing. Of course, online took over, and now you can just order. You can join any club and have shit delivered to your house monthly, for a small fee, and you join up and subscribe, and every month we'll send you a supply of jujubes. Joey was just telling me the other day how he bought 5 pounds of jelly beans or gummy worms, and they went to the neighbor, and the neighbor opened it up and looked, what the hell is this? And then they looked at the label to see that it was for the neighbor. And they're like, what the hell do you do with 5 pounds of? And he ate them, of course. But he said, yeah, you're right. I could have joined the subscription and had every month had 5 pounds of worms, gummy worms, show up at my door. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But what am I going to do with them? Put them in a vending machine. Country Crock with an ear of corn, getting buttered, porking back and forth towards the bun. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, you butter a piece of bread, right, with margarine, and then you put salt and pepper on it, and then you roll your ear of corn through that, and you lube up that corn really good with that butter, using the piece of bread as like the rag. Yep. That's what I remember about corn, bread and butter. Getting buttered up, baby. They even do that in the movie War Games, right? Matthew Broderick's sitting at the table eating with his parents, and his dad is totally butters up a piece of bread and then takes his corn and totally greases his corn with the margarine, and then just salts the hell out of that ear of corn, and then bites into it. And of course his wife, who works for Century 21 Realty, says, yeah, it's raw. Can't you just taste the vitamins? He's like, can we just have pills and cook the corn? Right, lube up. That reminds me of something that my wife and I saw sitting together watching late night movies. We were watching a John Wayne movie, flipped through the channels, and there's John Wayne and these other two guys. I think it was called The Three Godfathers, and it was a Western about 3 cowboys who found a wagon train, and the only survivor was this little baby, right? And I think they happened to find a book on how to take care of the baby. And in the book it said you had to, after you change, you wash the baby, and then you have to grease the baby, right? So they were taking like axle grease and holding the baby up, and then rubbing the baby down with axle grease, because in the book it said grease the baby. Of course they weren't using what they were supposed to. I'm surprised they didn't use butter, right? Let's butter the baby. Get a piece of bread and just rub it all over the baby. So weird, but The Three Godfathers. Totally. Like, it was like the early version of 3 Men and a Baby. Hilarious. Now that's a great fucking movie. 3 Men and a Baby. Let's see, that was Ted Danson, Tom Selleck, and what's the other guy? Who was the other guy? Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, and was it the guy from Cocoon? All right, somebody tell me who was it? Who was it? Who were 3 Men and a Baby? 3 Men and a Baby? Right? 3 Men and a Baby. 1987 film. And who is it? It is Steve Guttenberg. That's what I thought. Okay. So, yeah. Steve Guttenberg. No. Tom Selleck? Get out of here. Really? No way. Get out of here. Have I been asleep at the helm that long? When did this happen? Steve Guttenberg, I don't know. No. I'm on International Movie Database on Tom Selleck's page, and there is no death date. And usually that is the case. You will see it there first. Bob Broder, agent, and Chuck Lorre, production executive. Well, he's dead. But I don't see anything about Tom Selleck. Now, sometimes you'll watch videos on YouTube and it'll say, look who's just passed away, and it'll show this video of somebody who has not passed away. So, hopefully we are on a non-reality situation. We go to Tom Selleck Wikipedia, and there's no death date there. Usually at the top of the page it'll say the name, and if they're dead it'll give the date of birth and then the death date. So far I'm not seeing anything. I think you've been bamboozled, I'm hoping. Yeah, recent rumors about his death have been confirmed as a hoax. So, Tom Selleck, not dead. Don't believe everything you hear. Anytime I see a video, I'm sure you heard that because it was a hoax and it was everywhere. But I don't, yeah, when it's like that, when you start seeing videos, yeah, you gotta question it. I usually go right to the source, Internet Movie Database, and they are usually up to date. So, there you go. Once again, Tom Selleck, not dead. Yeah, High Road to China. That's one of my favorite movies, High Road to China. Wilfred Brimley is in that movie. I can't remember who the female is in it, like Bess Armstrong or somebody. It's nobody notable, right? But it's a great friggin' movie. About pre-World War II and a pilot, and you know, searching for treasure and lost people. It's really great. It's a great movie. It's great. It's totally great. It's totally great.
Great. Yeah, it's great, man. It's great. It's good stuff there, man. Totally.
Yeah, he's an old dude. I don't like how his career went. I really don't. I think we should have seen a whole lot more Tom Selleck stuff. Yeah, saw them logs, buddy. But I think he got screwed. I think he got the short end of the stick in Hollywood. You know, and he got locked into that whole Magnum thing, which really typecast him. And then, you know, a few leg injuries kind of slowed him up a little bit. And then he got locked into the series later on in his life. What is that? Blue Bloods or something. And he did something before that, I think. I would much rather have just seen him in some movies, you know. Mr. Baseball, what a great fucking movie, you know. He's so good in that old jock, you know. And then having to do that in Japan, that was just great. Oh man, I'd love to see that poster. Was that him with the Ferrari in the Hawaiian shirt and the shorts? Yeah, I was a Magnum fan, big time. There's a great episode of yeah, James Garner got typecast totally. There's a great episode of he was in an episode of the Rockford Files as a detective in the Rockford Files, which is what pretty much landed him that Magnum thing. But yeah, he got kind of a typecast thing going on. He was up for a lot of roles that he either passed on or just didn't get, right? And so we would have seen him in a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, Magnum. A lot of stuff happened during that show. A lot of stuff. There was a whole season that was kind of screwed up because the Rick Manelli, right? Was that his name? The guy who played Rick. I can't remember what his first name is. But the guy who played Rick, a girl died in his hotel room, and there was this whole thing where they thought they were going to lose him. They thought that he was going to go to prison, and I think that's why he still lives on the island. Actors are only as good as their agents and PR people. Public relations, of course. I think we only see them good because of those. I think an actor, it's all on the actor. It is. I think they're only going to get fame status, I think, if they have good agents and PR people, because I think that there are actors out there in the world that we'll never see that are much better than anything that we do see. But we'll never see them because they don't have PR people, they don't have agents, they don't have recognition. But something happened to his wife? I didn't hear about that. I know that he met his wife in England when they were doing an episode there, and I believe she was on the show as an English girl, and then they just got married. But I didn't know that something happened because they were together forever. Totally. Yeah, he did some stuff early on that got him recognition. And playing a detective in a couple of shows really synced it. But it's great because there was an episode of Quantum Leap later in the 80s or 90s, and they go, it's an episode that takes place in like 1980 or 81 or something, and the girl is like, pardon me, I gotta go home. I gotta go home and watch Magnum. Magnum's on at 8, you know. And then there's actually a piece of Magnum on the TV. And that one scene where she's at home watching Magnum on that's totally set the time dial, right? It was like I could totally see myself at that period. I could totally see myself thinking the streetlights just came on, right? The night is coming, but it's not night yet, and it's not days, you know, anymore. It's streetlight time, and that's what that few seconds of that episode, you know. Okay, so Susie just commented on Chips and an interview with, yeah, the John character, Ponch and John, right? Yeah, they really did struggle as friends, because basically, Ponch, Eric Estrada got him kicked off of that show. He wanted the show. He wanted to take over. He wanted to be the center of attention. And he was into a lot of me at the time, right? And the actor who played John, he was just an actor who just wanted to act, right? He was just a really good actor. In fact, after Chips, he started his own production company, right? And went about, he directed a couple of episodes of Chips because they were trying to keep him from leaving, and he knew he could do better, right? And unfortunately, typecast, you know, so he wasn't able to do better. Neither was Eric Estrada, really. Once he left Chips, he went into like really weird made-for-TV or low-budget movies, playing drug lords and you know, it was cheesy. He really had a cheesy career after that, right? But I can't remember his name, the actor who played John, right? That's just gonna bug me. Chips. Yeah, of course. Yeah, one-hit wonders, pretty much. Larry Wilcox. That's why I can't remember his name. Larry. Yeah, Larry Wilcox. He was the show. The kid. He's the kid. You know, it was I think the show were the two guys, right? And once they knew, after, like, Ponch had an accident, right? And he was laid up, and they had to bring in somebody to replace him, right? And then I think John was laid up as well, right? Because they were really riding motorcycles. And so they replaced him. You know that John's, Larry Wilcox, his real life sister was murdered by her husband in front of her mother and their children. And this was after Chips, after he had, you know, oh no, before Chips, right? So he was once he started his production company, he actually made a movie about something about that event in his life. I like that he had one accident where he was laid up in the hospital, and they filmed scenes in the hospital, in his hospital bed. Yeah, I remember in the first season, in the very first season of Chips, because they film stuff out of sequence. They film all the freeway motorcycle stuff, and then they film all of the station stuff for the whole season, right? It's like, okay, here's this episode. We're all going to come in and we're going to film this episode in the CHP station. And then the next day they film the next episode, and so they do all of that, and then they go out on the highway into their little closed off section of freeway, and they film every single car crash and ticket and everything they do on the freeway for every single episode. And then they fill it in with all of the other stuff, and then they edit them together. So sometimes you'll get an episode that was filmed fourth, but it's first in the season, right? So you see these episodes where sometimes Eric Estrada will have this huge bandage on his forearm, or some before that where he's got this huge scab in the same spot. And then later on, it'll be a scab, but it'll be really fresh, right? And it's like, you can totally tell that they film it out of sequence, but at the same time, you can totally tell that Eric Estrada went down a lot, because he was not a motorcycle rider when he took the show. He had to pretend that he was. Larry Wilcox, of course, he could ride horses, motorcycles, tractors, tanks. He could do anything. He was a man's man, but raised in the country, right? But Eric Estrada, he didn't know anything about motorcycles when he took the job, so he laid it down a lot at first and got into several accidents on the show. Bummer, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I got a bong in here. I'm going to do it. My alarm is going to go off in about 10 minutes, and I'm going to go ask my wife if she needs to wake up. I think she does. So I'll do that. Larry Wilcox, still alive. He's August 8th, 1947, so he's like my dad's age. My dad passed away a few years ago. So, Larry Wilcox. Still a good-looking guy. Alright, I'm going in. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So let's see, what are we doing the rest of the week? Tomorrow, probably going to be in the dark again. So there you go. We have power, we have electricity, but I also have a sleeping house guest. So if that's the way it is tomorrow, that's the way it is. Monday, we should be back to normal. Normal, whatever normal is, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think we're going to finish up this month and start next month going through 8-track tapes like we promised. This whole month of September has really been crazy. It's been different. So, In the Dark, right? Totally great. It's a good album. We don't have an album of the day. I can't get to anything. So, I'm not even going to worry about it. Yesterday was just Fleetwood Mac. Just their first album with Lindsay and Stevie. But, yeah, we'll get back to normal next week. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I like it to be different, you know. I like different. So I'm probably just going to get done here at about the top of the hour and have a little breakfast and maybe lay down for a little bit. My wife is going to go off. She's a busybody. She likes to go out and do stuff. So she's going to go out and do some stuff with some friends and help them do things. And then I am going to get a little rest so that when she gets back, I'll have the energy to do something. I don't know what, but at least I'll be ready. Right? And then maybe Joey wants to go do something today. You know, maybe I'll be feeling a little better and when I dose up on some Dayquil and go cruise around and do something, because I'm up for it. Unless my wife says I've got stuff to do, then I'm not. I don't keep track of my own schedule anymore. It keeps me from relaxing. I can never relax because I'm always frustrated about what I got to do next. My daughter's like that too. When she knows she's got to do something, she just can't relax until she does it. So, I don't. She says, okay, today we're going to go clean a house. And I'm like, okay. And that's all I need to know. If we're going to leave town, I need to know a week ahead of time. And then every day for a few days ahead of time. And then every hour on the day that we're going to leave, so that I don't just get wrapped up in something and forget, because I will totally forget. Oh shit, that's right, we're taking off, we gotta go to LA, and I'm knee deep into working on something, so I try to not keep track of what's going on from day to day. Bugs the shit out of me. I just cannot relax. My daughter's getting better at, of course, now that she's just about done with university, she's getting better at quizzes and tests and stuff. Don't overthink it. Don't overstudy. Don't over. Just relax. Read through your notes and be done with it. Take the damn test. There's no reason to stress about something. You're either going to make a good grade or you won't. And if you don't, it's not going to be that bad, so don't worry about it. Riot Fest from Chicago, Green Day jammed hard. Yeah, my daughter was there, right there on that day. I didn't watch any of it. I don't. Now I would have been obsessing, so I didn't watch any of it. But my daughter had a blast. She said it was a blast. It was her birthday that day on Sunday the 21st. So, yeah. It was, it wasn't perfect, but she said it was good. She had fun. Yeah, totally. Totally, that stuff's always there. That's great now that as soon as there's a concert, boom, it's there. Or sometimes it's live, boom, it's there. Coachella and that kind of shit. That's cool. That's neato, Greedo. Yeah, I'm not a Green Day fan, I'm not a this fan, I'm not a that fan. I'm a music fan, and if I go to something live, I'm going to enjoy it no matter who it is, pretty much. Because I can find something there to invest myself in. But a lot of times, that's it. Once I go see them live, depending on who they are, especially if it's something that my daughter wants to go see, I may or may not hear them again, unless my daughter's playing it, But then sometimes I'll go see a young band open for somebody that she wants to see, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta have that album, Hey, good morning, WW. He overslept. Look at you. I underslept, so there, we're even now. Totally. Yeah, I've just been Sitting in the dark again. It's probably going to be like this tomorrow. So there you go. It's not too bad. It's just hard to wake up, basically. Yeah, I mean, come on. You know, what's the point of that? I think that people should be off their fucking phones too. You know? I mean, if you're gonna go to a concert, why look at it through your phone? Why not just sit at home and watch fucking YouTube? That pisses me off when there's so much light pollution around you from people's screens, right? I mean, you're trying to watch the show and people, their faces are lit up because of the screen in front of their face. Yeah, that's how it works, man. 3 years of bad sleep will get me a day of good sleep. That's it. No, it's not that bad, but it feels like it. Yeah, sleep is nice. That's why I do a split shift. Because the second shift during the middle of the day is when I get the best sleep. Nighttime, not so much. I don't know why. But during the day, I'll lay down at like 10 or noon, and I can go out for a couple of hours hard. Of course, you know, to get up and take a leak. But still, it feels better. I don't know why. I used to not be like that. Unless, of course, I was in the throes of depression. Then I was just always in bed. Asleep or not. She meant to say head. See, there you go. That sucks. Oh. And you're wishing it was a dog that sat on your head, huh? My little dog has done that to my wife before. Be playing with me and then back up and just sit right on her head. Oh, 3 hours. Last night was 9. Great. See, 3 hours? That's about what I usually sleep every night. That's no biggie for me. That's a regular schedule for me. I'll usually be in bed for about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, and I'll sleep about 3. If I'm in bed for 6 hours, I'll sleep about 4. Last night I was in bed for about 8 hours, and I only slept about, 6, maybe 5. It didn't feel like much. It's just the way it is. Wow. You've been busy this morning, Susie. Sheesh. Yeah, I'll usually try to lay down in the day and get a couple more hours, but an average 24-hour period, I get about 6 hours sleep. A couple in the evening, couple in the day. Oh, there's my alarm. Okay, let me go wake up my wife. I'll be right back. There we go. Right on time. That's it, baby. .444. That's great. Big Pen Pal Club. That's funny. Yeah, tell me about it. The worse I sleep, the worse I feel. Period. I mean, just, every day is just a struggle to move anymore. Sleeping. I'm even having trouble driving. I'm a driver. I love to drive. One of my favorite things to do is to drive. And now I find myself driving slower, drifting in and out of the lane, right? Not paying attention. And I told my daughter, I said, you know what? I said, there's a lot of idiots out on the road, and I'm not going to be one of them. I said, as soon as I feel like I don't have it anymore, I'm just going to stop fucking driving. That's it. I'll keep my license for emergencies, but I'm just going to stop driving, you know? Once I know that I'm slipping and I'm losing my grip, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not, you know, I'm driving the fucking 2-ton death machine. I don't want to, you know, not know where I'm at, you know? So, there's that. Yay, getting old. But I'm like serious, you know. I think that people should be tested more often with their driving skills as they get older. Woke up with a frozen joint. Oh, jeez. How did you light it? Jeez, you had to thaw it out before you could smoke it? That sucks. We get old, we all get frozen joints. Or they just don't work, right? I get like severe neck and back injury stuff, so that I was never able to get surgery for. So some days I'll move, and the pain, if I keep moving in that direction, the pain is like unbearable. So I have to stop moving, completely stop moving, and slowly back out of whatever direction I was going with my body. If I was putting my head down, I need to just stop and slowly raise my head back up, and then, you know, rub it out, work it out before I try to bend again, because, man, stuff locks up. Things rub that aren't supposed to be rubbing. Yeah, it's no good. It's no good. But then frozen joints, man. How you gonna get high? Oh, here come the little dogs. They're gonna jump in bed with Joey. Yep, there was the first one. Here goes the second one. They just get in bed with it. Elderly in your county. Wow. 40%. Well, that's because all the young people keep leaving. They're in a community with old people, so they're like, well, I'm going where there's young people, man. So they keep leaving. Yeah. Yeah, he's still sick, but that's okay. He was sleeping. Been doing that NyQuil thing. Yeah, driving is taking your life into your own hands, but it's also putting the hands of everybody else in your path, in your hands, and that's where I can make the logical, healthy decision that if I'm not able to think at the speed that I'm driving, then I shouldn't be driving that speed, right? And I told my daughter that. That was the first thing, one of the first things my father taught me, is only drive as fast as you can think. Period. whatever condition you're in, only drive as fast as you can think. And I've always lived up to that, and I've always, it's kind of a bad flu, but he's getting over it. He's working it out. Mom's taking care of him. So that was one of the first thing I imparted onto my daughters is never drive as fast as you can think. Never drive as fast as you can observe your surroundings, because that's what it is. And when I get to the point, and I'm starting to feel it, where I'm not as quick as I used to be in thinking and observing, then I'm like, I'm done, you know. And just my anger alone used to make me want to get out of driving. You know, I've always 5 under and 2 car lengths behind. Yeah, exactly. You know, but there's a lot of people out there who don't see driving the way we used to see driving, as a privilege and an honor to be able to get a license and drive. Now they're just passing out licenses, just giving them to fucking anybody. And then you get these people who are just, this is just a means of getting from here to there. They don't understand the responsibility that it takes to get behind the wheel, right? And that's where we fall short as a society and automobiles. Most people don't have the same respect for what they're driving and what it can do, and therefore they don't respect the people in their path. Yeah, see? I drove bicycle for a long time. I didn't get a license until I was 19, and it was only because I happened to have to drive a car somewhere and got a ticket. So I got a license to fix the ticket, and then I didn't even drive for a couple of years after that. And then I did start driving, and I've, owned a couple of cars, but I never did a lot of driving. And I still don't do a lot of driving. We live in a small town. We've always lived in small areas where you don't have to do a lot of driving. And even if you do, you're not driving a lot. You're just driving around. Most of the driving we do is leaving town. That's where most of the miles come in. Going to university or going to LA or, to visit someone. Other than that, we may go, 10 miles a day around town, max. Yeah, driving's not it is a privilege, but it's not something that I want to continue doing if I can't keep up, right? If I can't think fast enough. I think a lot of people are out there driving and they know they shouldn't be driving. They get themselves into situations every day that tell them, oh, I shouldn't be driving, and yet they do, because they don't want to give up that freedom. They don't want to give up what they think is their right, and it's not. It's a privilege. That's the first thing you learn in driving school, is getting a license is not your right. It is a privilege. It's earned, right? And you have to keep up with, you have to earn it every time you go behind the wheel. And if it becomes so routine that you can get behind the wheel and be on your phone the whole time during your hour trip, there's something wrong. There's really something wrong. And if we're doing it, and our kids are seeing us doing it, and then they're doing it, and nobody's telling anybody not to do it, it's just going to get worse. Now what are they're creating cars that you get on the freeway and it drives itself. So you don't even have to be there, right? You can totally detach, and that's not a good thing. We are going to get into so much trouble with those self-fucking driving cars. I don't ever want to see somebody behind the wheel of one of those self-driving cars, ever. I'm gonna jump into their lane and slam on my brakes just to test that fucking thing. just to see if it really fucking works, and if not, at least shake the fucking driver into his fucking reality. It's a privilege. Where does it say we have AIs that are privileged enough to drive a fucking vehicle? A 2-ton death machine? No, I don't think so. We ain't that far in the fucking future. Not unless every vehicle is linked to the same computer, locked in to a lane, and everybody's doing the same speed, and a computer takes over, a master computer that's juggling everybody, right? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Elon. It's not just Elon. It's all of the bullshit that goes along with him and the way the world is right now, He's just a plant. He's just a plant. There are a lot of those plants that become billionaires, right? And basically, that tiny little pinhead of humanity at the top that has all the power, they hand select these fuckers to become billionaires because they can be controlled, and they can guide humanity the way that little pinhead of humanity wants the world to go. And yeah, tech is everything now. So that's why, Bill Gates, he's part of that. He was hired. He was hired. He was contracted by that pinhead percentage of humanity that is guiding everyone by their nose, right? Just like what's his face, Facebook guy, just like Elon, just like these other tech guys, these other people who just all of a sudden out of the blue become billionaires with this idea and this thing that changes the world, revolutionizes everything. Of course, we're gonna get guys like Bezos and what's his face, who take us to Amazon and eBay and all these places. So now, not only can we get anything we want at any time, but they can sell us anything they want at any time. And we're so used to gobbling it up. The age of Aquarius. Yeah, there you go. It's the age of fucking dipshits is what it is. It's the age of ignorance. The age of mass distraction. Keep them distracted. Keep them stupid. Keep them distracted. Keep them working. Right? Keep them busy. Keep their heads down. Clone Wars. There you go. Mega. I don't know about all the Clone Wars stuff. I know that it's going to get really competitive. Eating is going to be a competitive sport, right? Do you want your family to survive? Well, you're going to have to go on a game show, right? Running Man. It's shit's going to be real. We're gearing up for it. Look at the way the game shows are now and the competition shows. And then look how humans are being transformed into these superhuman type people, right? Yeah, we're at the changing period. My daughter is one of those that have been changed, right? Is me but changed. She's a hybrid, right? Just like Joey, people born after 2000. Those people are a different species of humanity. They are. Because they understand what's going on. They were born into it. They were raised into it. Me, it's all still a fucking crazy Hunger Games looking thing. To her it's reality. To me it's some fucking bizarre movie playing out in front of me. It is. And I don't know what to make of it. I don't. I just don't. Well, just about the top of the hour. Mom's not out yet. My house guest is still sleeping. Unfortunately, I think I've got some coffee bags out in the van, so I'm probably going to run out there in a minute, grab her a coffee bag. But there you go. All right, people, I guess it's time for me to hit the road. I'm going to do a hit ski here because I just want to say goodbye. I want to say goodbye properly here. Yeah, I think it's more so for me because I'm almost 60 and my daughter just turned 21. So there's a huge, like, couple of generations gap there. Right? It is weird. I've got friends that have kids half her age. So and they're my age. So that's, I know. I'll hang around for a few more minutes. I'll stretch it out. I know, huh? You had to sleep in, didn't you? Don't worry, we didn't do an album of the day because the house is asleep and I can't get to anything, and I just can't. Joe's still passed out over there, so there you go. I think the dogs even left him. They abandoned him. Totally. Yeah, you know. Yeah. I can't wait to get back to doing a show with light and substance and reality. This is okay, but oh, nice. Yee. Yeah, that was it was only like my third or fourth hit, I think, of the day. I did a couple of bong hits this morning, and then that little one hitter there. Yeah. It's going to get competitive out there in the world. I told my daughter, you need survival skills. If you're going to travel, you need to know self-defense, you need to know city survival skills, and you need to know backwoods, desert survival skills type stuff, right? You need to kind of know it all, because you never know what you'll get into, you know? I've been out before, and all of a sudden I have nothing, and I'm sleeping in a ditch overnight, because that's just the way it happens, right? You're on your way home from a party or something, and all of a sudden, you're sleeping in a ditch. Has anybody else caught the flu? No. My daughter is sleeping, resting, trying to avoid close contact, which means I've been driving to her to campus, because Joey wanted to do that while he was here. So I drove this week, and no, we're pretty good. Like I said, we stay pretty positive, pretty healthy, and when we feel like we're going to get sick or sick is on the horizon, we take certain steps to make sure that it doesn't get us or affect us bad. So my daughter, she's drinking a lot more liquids, she's sleeping a lot, and taking vitamin C and echinacea with golden seal, which for my money is one of the best things you can do for yourself. It's like taking emergency or one of those booster things that helps boost your immune system. All you got to do is think positive and know that if you know that the steps you're taking are going to keep you from getting sick, then you won't get sick, right? Just by me saying I'm not going to get sick will usually keep me from getting sick. And then along with that, I'll eat healthy, drink a lot of fluids, get some sunshine, and take some vitamins. I wish I had coffee to drink. I wish. I'd settle for a beer. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? What I'm probably going to do is sneak out and grab my wife a coffee bag so she can make some coffee before she goes. So I'm gonna leave you for a second, so don't go away, WW. I'll be right back. Ah, there we go. What happened to Crazy Fingers last Taco Tuesday? You just showed up in the broken down. The van broke down. Wow. I just walked in on a conversation here. I hate that when that happens. That's why I don't do like mobile live feeds anymore, because it just sucks. It just sucks. I was talking the other day that I'd love to be able to host an open mic night at one of our local places. But the only problem is I would need a dedicated internet line to a strong modem so that I could have a good signal. That's what I would need. But that would be fun. And then every once in a while I could play a song, but mostly just do a host thing once a week, and then do it on YouTube as well. You know, do it on the channel. That would be great. Nice. Totally nice. As soon as I get another couple of hard drives, my external hard drive thing taken care of, I'm gonna run through and probably make another bunch of Grateful Dead concert videos, because well, I need to. I need some more music to play. Ah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, my van's broken too. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. Ah, 1973. See, there's that year again. There it is. Totally. Totally. Alright. You know what? I guess I gotta get out of here. I want to stay longer, but I gotta get a few things wrapped up. And, you know, get my day rolling. I think my day is gonna start off with breakfast and a nap. So, I'll do that. Alright, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. You know what to do out there. Right? Take care of each other. Spread peace and love, not bullshit. Right? Go out into the world and do something for yourself. But do something for somebody else too. Why? Because you can. Because it makes you feel good, makes somebody else feel good, makes the world a better place, makes you a better person. It just makes sense, really, right? So let's do that. Adios. Let's do that. Let's get into the habit of just being nice, first of all right? And get into the habit of helping out where you can. Take care, you guys. Susie, love you. Take it easy, William. Love you. See you guys soon. I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. You gotta put in the effort. You gotta put in the work. You gotta be weird. You know, be nice. That's weird. That's some weird stuff there. All right, you guys. Take care of each other. I can't stress that enough. Just be good. Be nice. We're all related, brothers and sisters here. We all share this world together. So, yeah, but my wife just stepped in front of the camera, but it's not on, so it's like, hey, don't worry about it, baby. All right, you guys. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay weird. You guys are so irregular. I love you. All right. Oh, yeah. Adios.